prince shouted that he, Master Mo Hongyi, was here to pay his respects to them and gain their recognition. A silence hung. But then one of the plaques vibrated and fell. Her energy began to transfer into the prince. Zhang wondered in surprise. Is this the special aura of recognition by an elder? Who would have thought that this is what constitutes recognition? But the aura is so weak, and Mo Hongyi was rather thinking that even if just one plaque fell down, it still meant that he had received recognition. In any case, he had already become someone who was recognized in Wancheng for the first time in 300 years. Zhang Shu said impressively, as expected from a recognized genius of Wancheng. The man thought there, now this Zhao Shui won't be so arrogant anymore, Su Fan said with a smile. Not bad. A 2-star master and he had already received recognition. Even he got it when he was a 3-star master. Zhang Huang also said that it was impressive. Lin Yuhang said that he only got recognition when he became a 4-star master, and only one plaque fell. He thinks Master Mo is really talented. Zhang Shu said that Master Mo had been recognized, now it was Master Zhang's turn. Zhang thought about the fact that he was already a chosen master, so it didn't matter if he would get their recognition. But since he's here, it's worth a try. The boy knelt on the pillow. He then shouted out that Master Zhang Huang was here to pay their respects and gain their recognition. Everyone was watching him closely, thinking that he had shown amazing results before. He might even break Zhang Zijie's record. There was silence again. The silence continued, but the statue outside moved. Su Fan asked, that is there really not a single one? Lin Yuhang said that obviously there was no movement they observed. That is to say, the one did not get recognized. He failed this test. Su Fan sadly approached the guy, saying that the recognition of the masters was not based on his strength or capabilities. It was more just how fit he was to be their disciple. Perhaps his talent just discouraged them. Zhang Shu also approached the guy, saying with a smile that it was quite possible. After all, it couldn't be that he wouldn't be recognized. Therefore, Master Zhang should not. But then the man's eyes widened because he saw something up ahead. Zhang Shu shouted that it wasn't the plaques, but the statue of Confucius. Everyone looked at the way the statue trembled. Su Fan asked in surprise. The statue came into motion. Ogloa said that he had seen moving tablets before. He couldn't even imagine that the Confucius statue was even capable of such a thing. But then the man realized that she didn't just come into motion. In the next instant, the statue fell, causing the head to break. The stone head rolled towards Grandmaster Zhang, who meanwhile sadly lowered his head, thinking that he was from another world. So even if he embarrassed himself, it wouldn't be a big deal. But hearing a shout, the boy turned around and was frightened. In a state of shock, he hit her head with his fist, yelling at her to get it. This caused it to shatter into splinters. All 4 men were shocked by the guy's behavior. But then, pebbles started falling from the ceiling. Zhang Shu asked in surprise. It was as if the entire hall was in motion. But then someone shouted that it was collapsing. Everyone immediately ran out, shouting that they should leave quickly. The entire hall collapsed, leaving behind ruins. The chairman thought about what the hell was going on. He looked at the surprised Zhang Huang and thought there, others either get approval or not, and here even the Confucius statue has been destroyed. And that's not all. The entire Feng Shu hall has collapsed. Really? The others were thinking about Confucius being a great man. Someone who is respected by all people. It was all because of Zhang. Can't he show a little respect? Is he out of his mind? This is unacceptable. It's beyond their comprehension. And the guy innocently asked, did that mean he had gotten a confession? Zhang Shu looked at him shockedly. The others were thinking, what the hell else is a confession? He dared to shatter part of the sacred statue, and the entire Feng Shu hall was now in ruins. And all he's thinking about is confession? The chairman replied to the guy that he couldn't say if it could be considered a confession. Zhang thought about not being recognized or acknowledged, but what did the fall of that statue mean? Perhaps the one was just taking revenge on him for refusing to become his disciple. Zhang Shu told everyone not to tell anyone about what happened here. The men agreed with him, and then the man awkwardly added that it was fine even if the man didn't receive recognition. They had become second-rank grandmasters, and he should tell them about his duties. The man said that to teach is to instruct and dispel all doubts. He, as grandmaster, was now responsible for this. Confucius founded the Hall of Grandmasters and labored for its glorious name. It all had one goal, to make people better. The boys asked at the same time, what is doing better? The chairman replied that was correct. They think they are living in peaceful times when every profession is respected and needed. But in fact, it has not always been so. He told me that at the time Confucius lived, humans were not the only creatures on the continent. There was another powerful race, an alien race. He added that they were beings with incredible strength. Each of them was born with strength above rank 9, and as soon as a person fell exactly into their eyes, he immediately stopped being their slave. He added that eventually Confucius led humanity, and together they managed to destroy those creatures. In order to develop people's strength, he founded the Grandmaster's Hall, and trained absolutely everyone who wished to do so. All of this was done so that people would become stronger and be able to defend themselves. Zhang thought in surprise as he read many books, but none of them had the slightest mention of this. Who would have thought that once upon a time, there could have been such races that were already born with such strength? Jiang Shu said that the reason why Confucians did not recognize the Master of Poisons was because they were on the side of those creatures back then. Zhang Huang thought to himself, "This is not surprising. Poison masters are indeed frightening, but they are not reckless, so there is no need to constantly avoid them. So this is all because of what happened back then. Let the hatred fade over time, but habits are pretty hard to change. That's why they have what they have now." Jiang Shu told the guys that they were both rank 2 grandmasters now. This was all in the past. They've been dealt with long ago, so there's no need to worry. Even though those creatures may no longer pose a threat to them, but the traditions of grandmasters are passed down from generation to generation. And as long as they are one, they must fulfill their duties, follow the rules, and make people better. The man added that it was because of the knowledge they passed on to the people that the grandmasters had a high and respected position in society. If he finds out that any of them are breaking the rules or behaving inappropriately, he doesn't even have to do anything about it. The other Hailmasters' halls will take action and they will be off the board. The man then said that was all he wanted to say. He motioned for them to go to the living room. He would introduce the name of Grandmasters Su and Lin. As they were about to leave, yellow energy appeared around the statue. A few moments later, she was vaporized. Meanwhile, in the International Grandmaster Hall Alliance, the head of the International Alliance Hall of Masters, 4th rank Grandmaster Kang Gantan, said that he thought everyone present was aware of the incident. He hoped that they would all make their best efforts, but one of the elders told the chapter not to worry. They would do their best to find worthy ones. They wouldn't tarnish the reputation of the International Alliance Hall of Masters. Another said that Grandmaster Su and Lin had heard about some genius appearing in Xuanyuan. They had gone there a couple days ago. The former added that Elders Bai and Lu had said something similar about the Chiwan Kingdom. They've been there for about a week now. The head replied that that was fine. We need to prepare and keep an eye on the situation. They had been going through hard times, but now it was time to show everyone what their grandmasters could do. But then there was a ringing sound. The head stood up and asked, "What is it?" One of the elders said, "It's from Fengshu Hall." Kang Gantang said, "We need to find out soon." Meanwhile, in the Fengshu Hall, the head asked, shocked, was that a sign that they had gotten a waiver? The elder asked what was he talking about. The head explained that after successfully passing the exam, grandmasters try to get recognition from the ancestors. It is a great honor. They are all aware of the fact that every teacher can choose a student and every student can choose a teacher. But the man added that since a grandmaster could recognize an apprentice, he could also be refused. The elder asked, shocked, that someone could refuse to accept recognition. Not only is it a great honor, but it's also an opportunity to gain an incredible aura, which will help in further developing one's abilities. Who in their right mind would refuse something like this? Kang Gantang frowned his eyebrows and said, "Absorbing this aura actually means inheriting the ideas and ideals of an elder. It makes you his disciple. And as they all know, inheriting the ideas and ideals of an elder comes along with inheriting all the consequences that come with it. And only when there is total commitment on the other side can this process be considered complete. And some genius simply refused to accept the offer of friendship and cooperation with an elder. All the elders sadly lowered their heads, saying that they could all only dream of being recognized by the ancestors, and someone just refused so easily. How could this happen? The head said that even though they are just plaques, they are a piece of their knowledge and the meaning of their life's work. Of course they will be upset if they get rejected. That's what happens when ancestors get rejected. He had only read about it in books. Who would have thought it was actually possible? They watched as the plaques buzzed. The head added that the most important thing is that all the plaques are mourning, which means that all the elders recognize the same person. And in the end, everyone got rejected. The elders wondered, how could one receive recognition from so many ancestors? How was it possible? In the history of the Alliance, the most famous genius Jiang Zijie had been recognized by 7 ancestors. Who is it? Gaining recognition from all the ancestors and denying them, the head ordered that they be made aware of what had happened. It definitely happened within the Alliance, otherwise nothing like this would have happened. A genius who has been recognized by all the elders. If they managed to get their hands on him, It'll create a sensation. But then they noticed that the largest sign also hummed. The head asked in shock that did Confucius also receive a rejection. The other elders were even more surprised. Zhang asked whether or not it was definitely or not a big deal. He was told that the city's masters should look at the world more broadly, understand not only the form, but also the essence of things. Respect and memory are warm in their hearts, not on these plaques. Moving plaques is a bad sign in itself, so why do they always wait for them with bated breath? Let him not worry. The Grand Master Hall knows how to reconstruct plaques. Very soon everything will be reconstructed. Zhang Huang asked in surprise. Not the form, but the meaning. The guy thought to himself that it sounds reasonable. All the Grand Masters he knows don't care about their status. They are just like the most ordinary people. If something is right, they'll admit it. If false, they'll enter into a discussion. But then the guy thought about the fact that Grandmaster Yang Huang, whose identity he had used, was some kind of show-off. Should he choose something less flashy? When they were already in the living room, Zhang Shu told the guys that it was about time to introduce them to them. These are the rank 4 Grandmasters from the Alliance, Grandmaster Su and Grandmaster Lin. The guys immediately shockedly asked that they were rank 4, and Su Fan told them that they were both very talented, so very soon they too would become rank 4 Grandmasters. There's no need for formalities. And then the man asked Grandmaster Zhang that he had a small request. Was it convenient for him to hear it now? The boy said yes. The man said he had heard that Grandmaster Yang was now in Wancheng. Could they meet him? Zhang asked fearfully. What did the man want to meet Grandmaster Yang? And he thought to himself, that's who he is, right? Bleeding sweat, the boy thought about the fact that they wanted to meet him. What should he do? What did it cost him to fool Zhang Shu? On the other hand, they're just rank 4 Grandmasters. It shouldn't be that difficult. He's afraid that even if he uses his private, they will still guess. That's not a good thing. Su Fan asked the guy, what's wrong? Is there some kind of problem? The guy awkwardly replied that there wasn't. That one is constantly on the road, even he doesn't know when he will be here. Awkwardly scratching the back of his head, the guy replied that as soon as the man made himself known, he would let them know immediately. The man smiled and thanked him for his help, and then Su Fan said that since the exam has been successfully passed, he will get straight to the point. They are here because Grandmaster Zhang's results are astonishing. They decided to see for themselves. There's one more thing. They might need their help. Zhang Shu replied that if Grandmaster Su needed help, they would definitely help him if it was within their power. The man thanked and said that even if they knew nothing about the Alliance's status on the continent, he thought they had at least heard mention of something like this. The man said that they must be familiar with the classification of kingdoms, kingdoms without rank, kingdoms of second rank, kingdom of first rank, and titled kingdoms. The kingdom of Tianwu is a kingdom of the first rank, but it is also a vassal state of the titled state of Xuanyuan. And all 142 kingdoms that have the same status as Xuanyuan are under the administration of the Alliance. Many kingdoms are accountable to the Alliance, so at first glance it seems to be a large organization, but in the vastness of the entire continent, it is only a drop in the ocean. There are about 1,000 kingdoms of similar power on the continent, such as their neighbors the Mingxia Empire and the Huanghai Empire. There are also powerful third-rank families, such as the Luosha clan, Hanzi clan, and others. Let Alliance sound pretty loud, but in reality the kingdom acts alone, which makes them much weaker. For example, the Mingxia Empire. Regardless of the number of masters, economically they are far more advanced than them. The Liu and Luo clans have quite a few geniuses. Their numbers are much higher than theirs. Of course, they all have their own Grandmaster halls, which are controlled by the headquarters. And in order to determine the best and develop the abilities of the Grandmasters, the Alliance and 27 other comparable alliances hold a Grandmaster competition. Every 30 years, Grandmasters under the age of 30 are eligible to participate. The winner receives generous rewards. The man said that there were a total of 77 competitions, and the Grandmasters of the Alliance always ended up at the bottom of the standings. So now, with the change in leadership, their new chairman wants to change things. They have to watch the kingdoms, look for talent, and nurture it. Zhang Shu realized that it was so that they could participate in the competition that would take place in 3 months. Su Fan said, Grandmaster Zhang has already achieved incredible results at this age, setting more and more records for the Grandmaster Hall. There is incredible potential in him. This is the first time the Alliance is facing something like this, so they want to invite him to participate. Zhang Shu and Zhang Huang looked at each other awkwardly, and Su Fan told the guy that they were not asking for an immediate answer from him. He has 2 days to think about it. He can also discuss everything with his master, so they will wait for his answer. The guy smiled awkwardly and said that he needed to think about it. He thought about the fact that this was the first time he had heard of something like this. Moreover, he didn't even know how and what was going on, so he should be cautious and not agree right away. His main goal is to become a 9th-rank Grandmaster before the age of 30, so the rest is not that important to him right now. Zhang said that if that was the end of it, he should leave. The men agreed with him, and Ling Yuhang told the guy to tell his teacher that they would really like to have the opportunity to meet them. Zhang awkwardly added that as soon as he returned, he would let them know right away. The men thanked. Zhang awkwardly thought there that these two were quite serious, so it probably wouldn't work to just forget about it. He'll have to use the old methods, but he doesn't know how well that will work when he has 4th-rank Grandmasters in front of him. Zhang's disciples met him in the courtyard and bowed to him. He looked at them angrily, and said that when they returned they would be in trouble. Zhang then told Lu Chun and Mu Shueqing to both follow him as well. Walking behind the teacher, Yuan Tao asked that was the teacher really going to leave them. Zhang Yang told him not to say such a thing. Wang Yin, drenched in tears, asked what to do. They arrived at Zhang Huan's residence. Sitting at the table, Zhang shouted that it didn't matter at all if Grandmaster Liu was him or anyone else. He was a teacher first and foremost, which meant that they should at least respect him. Because of some petty thing, they decided to use poison. How dare they? The 3 disciples kneeled down. Yuan Tao told the teacher that they had made a mistake. Zhen Yang apologized, saying that they would never again. Zhang asked, never what? They dared to put poison in Grandmaster's tea too. Should he expect them in the future? He, Zhang Huang, had never had such disciples and never would. But then Zhao Yao and Yang Li kneeled down as well. The girl asked that the man didn't do that. They didn't mean any harm after all. The boy asked that the man give them another chance. Wang Ying shouted out that they had made a terrible mistake, but Zhang stood up and told them to stay where they were. When they realize what they have done, then they will speak for themselves. He forbids them to help them. He then looked at Lu Chong and Mu Shueqing, that they had a teacher-disciple relationship when he had to hide his true identity. Now that Lu Chong was over, their relationship was also over. He will show them the exercises that they can use to reach the 8th rank, so that's it. The girl wanted to object to something, but Zhang raised his hand, stopping her. He said that all good things come to an end sometime. Even if they were no longer his students, they should continue to train hard. Let them not slack off on their work. The girl said she wanted to follow him. Zhang Huan said that she was the daughter of alchemist Mu. How is she going to fulfill her duty if she decides to follow him? The girl wanted to reply something again, but the teacher said that if she really wanted to follow him, let her settle things with alchemist Mu. Only after that could she come. Let her not worry. He would be easy to find now. The girl kneeled down, thanking her teacher for his help and guidance. Another golden book appeared here. Zhang Huang thought of the one who had guided her, teaching her swordsmanship and various techniques. Who would have thought that now that it was time to temporarily separate, he would receive another golden book after her sincere words of gratitude. Then Lu Chong got down on one knee and told the master that he was all alone in this world, and he would follow him anywhere. Zhang thought about the fact that with the guy's temperament, no amount of argument seemed to help. He made up his mind. Grandmaster Liu came into the room to ask what was wrong with the disciples. Zhang Huang said that their strength had increased significantly in a short period of time, so they were acting too impulsively, so let them stand for a while. It would help them cool their heads and be more judicious. The man thought that as teachers, they as teachers should not only help their students become stronger, but also improve mentally. If one were to compare cultivation to construction, mentality was the framework of the entire building. Without having this base, it doesn't matter at all how many materials one has or what outstanding skills one possesses. A tall and sturdy house cannot be built. It punishes them, but it is also a great opportunity to teach them a great lesson. You can't take the fish out of the pond without labor. When he first met him, he was still so immature, but now he behaves like a true teacher. The man hoped those would realize it was all for them. The next day came. Zhang Huang thought about the fact that for his plan to fool the 2 rank 4 grandmasters to work, he would need a lot of knowledge. Since he couldn't do anything about it, he would have to come up with some sort of solution. He used the golden book, folded it, and studied it. In the next instant, he collapsed without strength, thinking that this knowledge had instantly downloaded his brain. Meanwhile, in the backyard of the medic guild, someone asked the healer Chung Feng if it could be cured. Standing by the bed on which the man was lying, the doctor replied that it had done its best. This eye thing is too strong, it can't do anything. Then the man suggested something, and the other asked, what? Chung Feng said that only if Chairman Liu, or rather Master Zhang, would personally take it on. He has managed to cure many diseases that were previously considered incurable. His skills are truly amazing. He might be able to do something about it. The man irritably said that he was poisoned by one of Zhang Huan's disciples. He must be in cahoots with the masters of the poison hall. The doctor said it's nothing, so he's not making it up. That famous internet master is also the guild's greatest healer. Why would he do something like that? The man recalled the moment when Liao Xun was following Zhang Huang's orders. He asked, "Is this nonsense?" Everyone had seen it with their own eyes. There could be no mistake. "Chairman, how is that possible? How could a man who is in cahoots with the poison hall even become chairman?" The man added that, what's more, he was sure the man wasn't looking at anything in the medicine business. He had planned it all out, just prepared in advance. Otherwise, how else to even solve so many cases that everyone thought were hopeless? A cry was heard in the corridor that such a man was unworthy to hold the office of chairman or medics. He hoped that justice would prevail. Let them call a general meeting of the healers and strip him of that status. He cannot be allowed to continue to deceive the people. But then a servant came running to them, telling the healer Cheng Feng and Shi Shunda that there was a new message on the wall. The healers looked at the guy and Shi Shunda asked that last answer was wrong. The man replied that there was no mention of it. They are inviting him to be the chairman of the Alliance's medic guild. As for his level, they will conduct a separate test. Cheng Feng shockingly asked, "Those invites to become the chairman of the Alliance's medic guild?" Shi Shunda clutched his heart thinking about what was going on. He had just said that he wasn't worthy of being the chairman, and now the Alliance medics themselves wanted him as their leader. What's going on here? This is some kind of collective divorce. Meanwhile, in the Grandmaster's hall, Deputy Guan reported that the Fengshu Hall had been completely restored. The head said that it was excellent. Su Fan said, "The Confucius statue came into motion, as well as all the tablets. Nothing like this had ever happened anywhere before." He asked Grandmaster Lin if he had figured out what was wrong. The man added that he had previously thought that it might have been because Grandmaster Zhang had asked for recognition. However, a 9th-rank Grandmaster once hoped to become a disciple of Confucius, but the latter had rejected him, so a 2nd-rank Grandmaster was an impossibility. Lin Yuaihan said, "There is no need to rush. They may not understand what happened yet, but the head should know. They should go back and inquire about it at the headquarters." But then on the wall next to them they saw a message from headquarters. The writing was on the wall that the elders had been rejected and all the plaques. This happened somewhere within the Alliance 2 days ago. Moreover, Confucius himself had been rejected and his statue had been destroyed. Perhaps something like that could have triggered the fall of the entire Fengshu Hall. If they were the sharer of something like that, have them reported immediately. Su Fan, that after passing the examination and someone rejected repeated, the deputy asked, "Is there really such a person?" Jiang Shu said that to be recognized by the elders is the greatest honor. Ling Yuhang asked who could do such a thing, but then the man hesitated and said that it couldn't be. It said that it should be reported if there was a fall of the Fengshu Hall. It collapsed here, didn't it? Su Fan said that 2 days ago, between 7 and 9 p.m., must have been the time when Master Zhang worshipped the ancestors. Yu Hang replied that yes, what happened to the statue and to Fengshu Hall was because of someone who rejected the elders. The men looked at each other, realizing that it was Grandmaster Zhang. Su Fan asked, "How is this possible?" Jiang Shu said that it must be. Yu Hang asked what. The man said it was 2 days ago when the plaques fell down and the Confucius statue came into motion. Su Fang asked, "If all the tablets came into motion, is it the chosen Grandmaster? Does that mean that Confucius is willing to accept the chosen one as a disciple?" And Yu Hang added in surprise that most importantly, the latter rejected the offer. Su Fan said that to reject the proposal of the elders, and moreover the proposal of Confucius himself, is inconceivable. The other said that there could be no doubt about it. The man added that it was definitely Zhang Huang. Yu Han said that he hoped that they could find someone capable here, but he never would have thought that they would only find someone with strength and abilities beyond their comprehension. Su Fan agreed with him. Yu Hang said that it should be reported right away. The chairman should personally meet him. But Jiang Shu is at Master Lin's place, that maybe we shouldn't be in such a hurry. The one asked why. Jiang Shu said that the appearance of the elected Grandmaster was shocking even to them. If this news leaked out, he was afraid there would be a lot of trouble. Moreover, the fact that someone had turned down Confucius himself was no reason to be proud. He had already given orders to keep quiet about it. If they talk about it now, Su Fan thought about it and said to Chairman Jiang is right. They should report this to the chairman personal. The less people know about it, the better. Lin Yuhang said that the chosen Grandmaster who had received the offer to become Confucius's disciple, now that they found out about it, they should definitely pay him a visit. Su Fan said that was true, however. They should pay Grandmaster Yang a visit first. Agreed that the one who was able to train the Grandmaster that became the Chosen One was the priority right now. Just how great was his power? Su Fan added that if they were to be honored with even a 1-minute lecture, he was sure their strength would increase significantly without much effort on their part. Meanwhile, Mo Hongyi was walking down the street, thinking that if Grandmaster Lin or Grandmaster Su accepted him as a disciple, he would become a disciple of the 4th-ranked Grandmaster himself. Then perhaps he would be able to catch up with Zhang Huan, or even surpass him. When the guy reached the door, he was told that Grandmasters Su and Lin had left early in the morning. The guy asked if he knew where they had gone. He replied that the two had gone to visit Grandmaster Zhang. He could tell them that he had stopped by, but the guy said he didn't need to and thanked him for the offer. He would try to catch them himself, and Zhang Huang thought that this time the accumulated knowledge was too much, so he was out for quite a long period of time. The guy sat on the bed. Thinking about that, however, martial arts, alchemy, animal taming, calligraphy and painting, healing, guard mastery, poisons. All this knowledge was now organized in his head and became his. This book of the Heavenly Path is truly impressive. He knew that the Heaven's Path book materialized from the true gratitude of the disciples was incredible, but he still can't stop being pleasantly surprised every time he uses it. But then he furrowed his eyebrows, think increasing his mental power by 5.0, and still gaining all that knowledge. He thinks that he can get even more than that. Looks like it wouldn't hurt to take on more students from now on. That way he can get more books as well. But then Sun Qian came to him, the young master that they wanted to meet him. They waited outside until the morning. The boy asked who was there. The butler said that it was the people from the Grandmaster Hall, Su Fan and Lin Yuhang. Zhang Huang was immediately taken aback. He was thinking about Grandmaster Su and Grandmaster Lin, but he had told them that once Grandmaster Yang was here, he would inform them, right? So why are they here? He's not prepared for this visit. The guy jumped up asking where they were now. In the living room or the meeting room? Did Sun Qian ask for the living room? The meeting room? They told you they came to visit Grandmaster Yang, but they came completely empty-handed. It's ridiculous, such rude people. He just told them to wait outside. If they weren't Grandmasters, he would have sent them away long ago. What is this? No manners at all. And Zhang frightenedly thought, does he even know who these two are? How could he talk like that? How did he have the misfortune to hire such a horrible manager? 2 rank 4 Grandmasters, and he made them wait outside all this time. Zhang ordered him to let them in immediately. He thought about the fact that he had to teach him some manners, otherwise he would be killed because of him one day. Meanwhile, Mo Hongyi stood around the corner and watched Grandmaster Su and Grandmaster Lin. Why did they spend all morning here? Why haven't they gone inside yet? Basically thought about the fact that they are, after all, 4th-rank Grandmasters, multi-respected Grandmasters who are famous within the entire alliance. Even King Xuanyuan would be obligated to treat them with the respect they deserve, but they are taking this attitude. What's going on? But then Sun Qian opened the gate, apologizing for such a long wait. He informed them that the master had just returned, and then asked them to pass through. He also asked them to bear in mind that the master didn't like noise. The men replied that they would be quiet. The prince shopped, thinking about what was even going on. People of such status and still have to wait outside, and they've been waiting all morning. After escorting the men into the living room, the butler introduced his master, Master Yang, to them. The men bowed to him in greeting. Examining the man in front of him, Su Fan mentally told his comrade that this person's body structure was somewhat unnatural. Obviously, someone is just pretending to be him. Even if he's a so-called genius, no matter how naturally talented a person is, he must nurture his abilities. At a young age, the potential is limited. Lin Yuhang said that this Grandmaster Yang looks relatively young. However, he can't recognize his true strength. Zhang put his mug on the table and asked if they were done looking at him. He realized that they seemed to have figured out his disguise. Su Fan said that they had heard a lot about him and his accomplishments. He also managed to nurture a disciple like Grandmaster Zhang. It was a simple curiosity. They didn't want to seem rude, let him forgive them. Symbols appeared in the guy's pupils and he grimly replied that it was fine. When the men saw it, they realized that it was an eye of insight. They thought it was an incredible ability that only 6th-rank Grandmasters could obtain. Su Fan mentally asked his friend, could it be that he was a 6th-rank Grandmaster or even higher? Yuhan replied that if that was the case, then this kind of treatment was justified. The guy asked the Grandmasters why they, the 4th-ranked Grandmasters, were so eager to meet him. Guy thought to himself that, of course, showing them the Eye of Insight was the right thing to do. Ling Yuhang said that the thing is that they have a proposal for Grandmaster Zhang, but they would like to discuss it with him first. Su Fan said that it's about the Grandmaster competition. The former added that Master Zhang was not yet 20, but he definitely had talent. If he participated in the competition, he would be able to become famous all over the world. Zhang thought that those were so insistent on meeting with Grandmaster Yang because of something more important. It seemed like they were really taking his phrase that he needed to discuss the matter with Master first seriously. But the guy looked at them sternly, asking that could his student really only make a name for himself in this way. The men were confused, and Yuhan said they didn't mean it at all. Zhang stood up and said that if this was the only thing they wanted to discuss, they could be free to go. Whether Zhang Huang will participate in the competition is his personal decision. He is not going to influence him in any way. He is his mentor, not his babysitter. He will decide for himself. Yu Heng replied that they had acted rashly, but then Su Fan said that they were finding it difficult to practice lately, so since they were lucky enough to meet Grandmaster Yang today, they hoped that he would be able to guide them in the right direction. Yu Han looked at his comrade excitedly, and then the man mentally told him that it would probably only anger him even more. The man replied that right in front of them was a Grandmaster of the 6th rank or even higher. This might be their first and last chance to meet a Grandmaster of that rank. If they didn't take this opportunity, they would definitely regret it later. Zhang grudgingly asked, what was the problem? And he himself thought about the fact that he had already said goodbye, right? These people really don't understand when to stop. Su Fan said that he was currently practicing the small pure yang methods. Every time he reached the 7th phase, he felt as if his body was being torn to pieces and he could no longer continue. Zhang Huang thought that although he had managed to gather a great deal of knowledge from all over Tianwu, he had never heard of anything like this, let alone what phases this technique was divided into. But the guy told him to demonstrate for him. The man agreed. He then forces himself into a lotus pose on the floor. The man began to make actions with his hands, releasing his power. Zhang's eyes widened in surprise, and he thought to himself that as expected of a 4th rank master, this is impressive. He can't figure out what the other one is doing, can only refer to the library of the heavenly path. There he learned that Su Fan, an initial stage 4th ranked grandmaster, a transcendent mortal, and an elder of the Alliance Grandmaster Hall. Techniques practiced, small purest yang. He then recognized his weaknesses, a guide to the Library of Heaven's Way. For masters of the 9th rank and above, the concept of transcendence is applied, which demonstrates the fact that the master has reached his limit of power in the mortal world. It is then left to leave the mundane world and turn to the 8 spirits. This means that Master Su Fang's strength has already gone beyond the 9th rank. Regardless of his physical elemental characteristics, he had reached a very high level. It could be compared to the boundary between real and spirit weapons. Zhang said that was enough. The man stopped and Yu Heng asked if the man had already found a solution. Zhang replied that if he wanted to go to the 8th phase, he should just follow his instructions. He should not resist and should not hesitate. The man said he's been trying to do this for 5 years, so he's willing to do anything. Zhang Huang said that it was great. He can start right now. Once he reaches the 7th phase, he will help him break through further. The one should close his eyes, ask no questions, and give himself wholeheartedly to the process. He must do it in a horseman's stance. The man agreed, but it was the stance that doubted him. Zhang asked him if he needed help. The man asked if it would help, but after that he immediately went into a stand. Yu Heng thought to himself, shouldn't everything be under his guidance? How could this possibly help? Zhang mentally told the man to just follow his instruction and wait. Su Fan said that the 7th phase had begun. Zhang Huang said that it was time to start. Now we need to do the following. The man tensed up, veins swelling on his forehead. Ling Yuhang asked fearfully, is it true? But Su Fan, agonizing, said to make them faster. He wouldn't last long. Yu Heng walked up to Grandmaster Su and apologized. He didn't understand why, but in the next instant the man kicked him in the groin. Su Fan crouched down in pain. Angry, he thought. What had he done to offend him to do something like that? To do it at such a crucial moment. But Yu Han didn't stop and hit the man in the head. Su Fan couldn't stand it, got angry and said that he would answer for it. In the next instant, the man burst through, reaching the 8th phase of the small purest yang phase. Ling Yuhang wondered in surprise. Did it work? Was it really that easy? Calmly, the man looked at his fists, surprised to think that the chairman and 5th rank grandmasters couldn't help him. All it took was a couple of blows. Su Fan fell to his knees, thanking the guy for his help. Zhang Huang asked if he understood what had happened. The men looked at each other awkwardly, and Su Fan asked to enlighten them. Zhang began to explain that he was practicing the small purest yang, with yang energy circulating in his body. Everything matched, and there shouldn't be any problems. Under normal circumstances, he should have made a breakthrough to the 8th phase almost immediately, After listening to everything, the men thought about the fact that he was able to see the essence of the problem so clearly. Master Yang is simply incredible. The Grandmaster, who had an eye of insight, couldn't have expected anything less. Zhang Huang said that it would take a little time to recover. Those blows must have been quite painful, and Su Fan awkwardly asked the Grandmaster that he had successfully overcome this phase now. But what should he do if he wanted to break through to the 9th phase as well? And Ling Yuhong irritably thought about how impudence was second happiness. After all, he hadn't even asked his question, and Zhang Huang replied that it was simple. He should use the same method. It won't work once. Let him try it twice. Doesn't work the second time, try a third time. If that doesn't work, then he should try 10. More strokes, more likely to awaken the right energy. Hearing this, the man was shocked. A girl entered the Lin family's courtyard and saw the ruins. She ordered that her father and brother be found now. If anything happened to them while she was away, she would level the entire kingdom. The girl who was wearing the cape irritatedly said that she would kill Liu Cheng. It wasn't long before a servant informed the princess that the head of the family and the young master were inside. Lin Roshan sat in the corner next to her son, who was unconscious. He looked at Lun Er fearfully. The man asked the girl to avenge them. She ran up to him, asking him what had happened here. The man said in a frightened voice that it was Liu Cheng, or rather the second-ranked Grandmaster, Zhang Huang. The escaped bastard of the Chu family is his disciple. The girl fiercely ordered Commander Liang to go to the Grandmaster Hall and detain him. She would show the world by his example what happens to those who dared to go against the Lin family, but Commander Liang asked the princess to think it over carefully. A second-rank Grandmaster is nothing to Xuanyuan, but he is still a Grandmaster, which means he is under the patronage of the Grandmaster Hall. But the girl shouted that he had destroyed her family, injured her father and brother. Even if all the Grandmasters stand in his defense, she will never accept it. Hal Head Luo is a good friend of the prince. Once they explain everything, there will be no problem with this. The girl's face became frantic, and she added that anyway, that some unknown Grandmaster from a small state. She could kill him without any repercussions. Would Head Luo decide to go against the royal family over such a small thing? The commander obeyed, but Lin Ruoshan told him to wait. He will go with him because he wants to see him die with his own eyes. And he's not in the Grandmaster Hall right now. The man said that the one at the residence not far from here hasn't shown up since yesterday. He hopes that Commander Liang can capture him and bring him here. He will torture him long and slowly. As she sat on the eagle, the princess shouted that today would be the end of Zhang Huan. Meanwhile, in the backyard of the royal palace, the king exclaimed that it was Commander Liang of Xuanyuan. Things are not good. The man added fearfully, the princess of the Lin family is here. It's all over because that 9th rank master. Mo Yu asked that Liang Qingming was a late-stage master of the 9th rank, right? Mo Tianshui replied that yes. Who would have thought that the princess would have the commander of the Xuanyuan royal guards under her command? What to do? The king clutched his head, thinking about how incredibly strong he was. Even their guardian is no match for him. Their kingdom was doomed. The man took his daughter's hand, telling her to take the ring and run away. Even if the kingdom came to an end today, as long as she lived, there would still be hope for the future. Holding the green ring in her hand, the girl thought about how Lin Lun had destroyed the entire Chu family, without even having an objective reason to do so. What would happen now that such a thing had happened to her family? Knowing her character, that one would definitely take after the royal family once she was done with Grandmaster Zhang. Leaving, the man told her to go and he would stay here. If she really decided to go against them, it was his duty to protect the kingdom until his last breath. The princess looked fearfully at her father. The guy went outside the gate. Taking out a loudspeaker, he shouted loudly, "What the hell is this?" Even if God awarded them with a loud voice, it doesn't mean they can show off their abilities here. Let them show respect and wait quietly if life was precious. Lin Ruoshan was surprised to think that this butler was only a 4th rank master but dares to behave like this, and Liang Qingming irritably said, counting to 3, "Let Zhang Huang show himself now, otherwise." But the man couldn't finish because the guy asked, "Is he counting to 3? Then let him do it quickly and don't complain later." He had warned him. Those must be the last 3 words he would ever say in his life. The man said that he was the commander of the Xuanyuan Royal Guards, and the man was allowing himself to make such remarks about him. Since he thought he could insult him, then let him not accuse him of being ruthless. Just then, Grandmaster Yang, Su Fan, and Lin Yuhang came out from behind the gate. Su Fan asked, "What's going on? What's all the commotion from early in the morning?" Sun Qian reported that the man said that he wanted to see young master immediately. Unheard of impertinence showing up here like this and demanding to see young master whenever he wants. He had already asked him to leave. Zhang replied that all right, that was correct. But Commander Liang rushed to the attack, correct that since they were so anxious to die, he would fulfill their wish. The man attacked from the bird using a diamond hand. Zhang turned to Su, saying that he was leaving it on him, and it wouldn't hurt to bring the bird down to the ground. He obeyed. Su Fan started to use force, saying, "This is an outrage." With one hand, he was able to block the attack and hit his opponent in return. Commander Liang's mouth bled, and he thought in surprise, "This transcendent mortal." Without stopping, Su Fan ordered him to descend. The man twisted his hand, causing the bird to flip over, and all the passengers fell out. They fell to the ground with a clatter. Zhang shockingly thought that this was the true power of transcendent mortals. Everyone slowly began to rise from the ground. Lin Lun then shouted to Commander Liang, "Ask him what he is waiting for. Let him kill them." Su Fan sternly asked, "What do they want to kill?" Liang Qingming fearfully asked the elder to give him a moment, and the princess shouted, "Why is the latter so scared? This is just some first-ranked kingdom grandmaster. What can he even do?" Su Fan got angry, asked how dare she insult the grandmasters. He would make her shut up. The commander approached the girl. The one asked in surprise, shutting up, "What is the one going to do?" But in the next instant the man slapped the princess. But it didn't end there because the man continued to drink the girl's face. Unable to answer, the girl thought about the fact that they would pay for such humiliation with their lives. Zhang Huang said that was enough. The men thought that Master Yang was so magnanimous and fair. If someone else dared to insult Grandmaster, he wouldn't get away with it so easily. The man ordered Sun Chang to get Lu Chun. He knows what to do with this woman. Lu Chang soon came in and bowed to the master. Zhang told the guy that this is Lin Lan's sister, the princess of the Lin family. He is leaving her to him. The guy thanked the master. The girl was sitting on the ground with a puffy face, and when the guy started to walk towards her, she asked, "What is he doing?" "She is the princess of Xuanyuan. If he so much as laid a finger on her, she will destroy his entire family." But the guy kicked her in the face, telling her to destroy herself. While continuing it, and Zhang thought about teaching Lu Chun a couple techniques. Finished, the lad turned to the master, thanking him and here for this opportunity. Zhang turned to Su Fang, ordering him to get rid of them, to keep their feet out of their kingdom. Afterward, they sat in the living room, sipping her tea. Zhang Huang thought there. It was fortunate that Grandmaster Su and the others were there. He was able to nullify a late-stage 9th-ranked master's attack with just one hand. His strength is very impressive. After familiarizing himself with the information from the Heaven's Path library, he knew that he was very strong, but he didn't expect him to be this powerful. Su Fan asked Master Yang, "Where is Grandmaster Zhang? Could he talk to him about the Grandmaster competition?" Zhang replied that he was very busy perfecting his skills right now. The men thought that in that case it was no wonder the man didn't show up, even when they had made so much noise. The man asked, "What about the contest?" Zhang said that he had already answered their question. Even if he is his teacher, the decision will be made by him personally. Su Fan said that the conditions every year are negotiated by eminent grandmasters from all over the world. There are no definite rules, but there are generous rewards. If the contestant manages to win the prize, as a reward, he will not only receive spirit stones, but also the opportunity to cultivate in the secret realm. Zhang asked cheerfully, wanting the man to be more specific. Lin Yuhang said that he couldn't answer specifically, but based on the past year's awards, the contestant received a medium-rank spirit stone for first place. Zhang thought about the fact that the Qianwu kingdom was rather weak, so there weren't many records of spirit stones. Moreover, there was no mention of any varieties. "What do you mean by average rank?" Su Fan said that now they were mostly using low-rank spiritual stones. Even though there is enough spiritual energy in them, it is not pure enough. Therefore, once one reaches a certain rank, it is quite difficult to absorb. As for the middle-rank spiritual stones, they contain an order of magnitude more spiritual energy, and there are far fewer impurities. They are suitable for masters of higher ranks. Under normal circumstances, one medium-rank spirit stone can be exchanged for 10,000 low-rank spirit stones, but they are quite difficult to obtain. Zhang thought shockedly that he had used all sorts of tricks to get his hands on as many low-rank spirit stones as possible. If he were to participate in this competition and win, he would receive one medium-ranked spiritual stone, which equated to 10,000 lower-ranked spiritual stones. Su Fan asked in surprise. Grandmaster Yang didn't know about this. Ling Yuhang was thinking about the fact that in order to become a transgender mortal, one must absorb spiritual powers from the atmosphere, which in itself is very difficult, so there's no need for spiritual stones. All grandmasters of the 3rd rank and above know this, so why doesn't such an outstanding grandmaster know about it? Holding up the cup, Zhang replied that of course he knew about it. He just remembered something. It's just an emotion. Su Fan asked again, "What about participating in the competition?" Zhang replied that it was a great opportunity for the younger generation to gain experience. How could he be against it? The guy calmly replied that they shouldn't worry, he would definitely agree. And he thought to himself that they were joking. 10,000 spirit stones. Who in their right mind would pass up such an opportunity? And the men thought in surprise at the fact that before it was certain that he could be said to be against it. Why did he change his mind so quickly? What is in the minds of great men they will never understand. Su Fan said that they were very grateful. And Ling Yuhang asked that, in that case, Grandmaster Zhang should report to the Alliance within 3 months. The man held out a plaque saying that it was a contestant token. He asked him to give it to Grandmaster Zhang. With it, he would be able to find him in the Alliance Grandmaster Hall. The man added that now that they had discussed everything, they could go back. They would be looking forward to his arrival at the Alliance. In the Grandmaster Hall, Jiang Shu asked what the man was saying. Did he just call Grandmaster Su by his first name? After thinking for a moment, the man added that Grandmaster Su was an outstanding Grandmaster of the 4th rank of the Alliance Grandmaster Hall. He showed Grandmaster Yang similar respect and did not react to the situation in any way. Is it possible that his strength is superior to that of a 4th-ranked Grandmaster? Master Guan said that they had already left Mr. Zhang's residence and went to the Alliance on flying beasts. The head said that of course, they are esteemed Grandmasters. Of course, they have a lot of business and can't stay with them for long. Jiang Shu added that they should pay a visit to Grandmaster Zhang and his teacher. He wondered if they wouldn't linger in Tianwu the same way. The next day, the 5 students were on their knees. Zhang Huang ordered them to stand up. He informed them that he had to drop off Tianwu and head to the Alliance. He would not force them to follow him, but they all said they wanted to go with him. Zhang then asked Lu Chun what about him. The boy replied that as he had said before, his life belonged to his teacher, so wherever he followed him, he would follow him. However, before that, he must visit his ancestors. The Alliance is 10,000 kilometers away, so if he were to go that far now, not knowing when he could go back, Zhang Huang told him to do what he had to do. The guy added that if it was possible, he would like to ask him to help him take back what his ancestors left behind. He still wasn't strong enough for that. Zhang agreed, and the boy thanked him. Zhang thought about the fact that he was referring to his family's treasures. Among them must be Confucius's writings. They were of little value to him, but Lu Chun's family was destroyed because of them. This is all that is left of his family. No wonder he wants to take them before he leaves. Zhang said that since they all made the decision to go with him, he should voice some rules. Teacher and students are bound by fate. Under normal circumstances, if they don't like a particular class, they can leave. They can also change the teacher. However, if they follow him, they will not have that opportunity in the future. Zhao Yao asked the master that did he really want them to become his followers. Zhang replied that was correct. And if they wish to become them, they must observe the following rules. Respect the master, follow his instructions, and never go against him. He added that what he teaches them cannot be given to a third person without his permission. Let them be patient and not offend the weak. They should be honest with everyone, stick to each other. Zhang said that if they could abide by these rules, he could accept them as followers. But if they are unable to, or break any rule in the future, he, Zhang Huang, would never condone such a thing, and would personally deal with the offender. All the disciples kneeled down, saying loudly that they wished to follow Grandmaster Zhang and become his followers. They would be loyal to him and would never regret their decision. Zhang said that today's Zhao Yao would be the elder sister mentor after her, Wang Yin. He added that next, Yang Li, Zheng Yang, Yuan Tao, Lu Chong, the 6 of them should respect each other. There should never be any strife between them. They all replied in unison that yes, 1736, Tianwu calendar. Zhao Yao, Wang Yin, Yang Li, Zhen Yang, Yuan Tao, and Lu Chong became followers of Grandmaster Zhang. Lin Lun shouted to His Majesty that he should help her. She added to get back at him for what he had done, but the guy turned on her, slapping her on the cheek. As the girl fell to the floor, the blonde shouted, did she know who she had crossed? And she still dares to talk about revenge? A genius Grandmaster who set many records, and a great Grandmaster from the Alliance. He added furiously that their family is obsessed with making everyone else uncomfortable, and this time it's such powerful people. What kind of revenge? No longer shouting, the man said that he suppressed the will of the 9th rank master, and the lightning golden-furred beast with a single movement. That man is incredibly strong. He is not something that Xuanyuan can pull off. If he does what she asks, doesn't that mean that he will personally sign the entire kingdom's judgment? But the girl said, all that one was only a 2nd-ranked Grandmaster, and the one who was helping him seemed to be a 4th-ranked Grandmaster. The man said she knows about it and still dares to talk this nonsense. A Grandmaster of the 4th rank means he's a transcendent mortal. So powerful a man. He has the respect of the entire alliance, not to mention Xuanyuan. This is not someone they can go up against. Turning away, he added that he had said it all. Let her never dare to bring it up again. But the girl told him to wait with his decision. Getting up from the floor, she asked if he knew why the Chu family was destroyed by them. The girl slyly said that she remembered perfectly well. His Majesty's wishes to join the Liuyun sect, and if he really wants to, Chu Chong could be extremely useful. The girl added that it was now that there was nothing left of the Chu family, but it used to be incredibly powerful. Especially the ancestors of the Chu family, who had luckily saved Saint Ming's life. The king looked at her in surprise, and then asked what she meant to one of Confucius's 72 closest followers. The girl said that was right. And then they received a letter from Confucius himself, and have since passed it down from generation to generation as a family treasure. She added that what was written by Confucius is of great value. She thinks His Majesty understands it himself. If he presents it to the head of Liu Yun's sect, not only can he become a disciple, but perhaps even an elder. The man was surprised to think that such a treasure was not only hard to find in the alliance, but it was hard to tell if anything like it had survived in the surrounding countries. But the Cui family owned something like this. The man asked irritably, why hadn't she killed everyone 2 years ago? Why had she let that child live? Lin Lun replied that these people were quite determined and were unwilling to reveal the location of the treasure to the last, so they purposely left him alive to lead them there. But then she clenched her teeth, adding that who would have known he would be so patient. It had been over 2 years and he hadn't made any attempt. She'd planned to catch him and give him a good interrogation before, but who would have thought he'd find such a good teacher to stand up for him? But Commander Liang was not sure if he was a good teacher. He must have already known about the writings. Otherwise, would a second-rank Grandmaster dare to go against the Lin family in the Xuanyuan kingdom? The girl exclaimed that this must be the case. Even with Grenadmaster Yang's patronage, he wouldn't just insult them and disregard Xuanyuan's might. The king said that now is not the time to discuss Zhang Huan's motives. If what she says is true, the writings of Confucius himself are worth going against the entire alliance, let alone a brilliant teacher. The girl said cheerfully that she had to act as soon as possible. She had already sent people to find out what was going on. This Zhang Huang had left the Qianwu kingdom. He went to the mountains this morning. The girl added that the alliance was in the south, but he also went to the southwest. She could assume that the one went to get the treasure. If they present it to the alliance, it would be quite difficult for them to get it. The king said that if the letter got to the alliance, it really wouldn't be that easy to get it. But his teacher and those 2 grandmasters. But Commander Liang told His Highness not to worry. His men had already reported that Grandmaster Su and the other one that was with them had left yesterday. Even Grandmaster Yang wasn't with him since this morning. Zhang Huan had only taken a couple of disciples with him. The prince said that it was quite dangerous in the Tianwu Mountains. If masters who hadn't reached rank 9 went there, they would die in a matter of minutes. So if they take proper advantage of the situation, no one would ever know the true reason for what happened. The man smirked, saying that since the heavens favored them, they would just kill them together. Zhang Huang asked unhappily, why is she here? Mo Yu replied that she also wanted to watch the Grandmaster competition. Why can't she go? With the whole crowd, they walked through the forest, and the princess added that even if they couldn't be anything more to each other, they were still friends. The girl added that it was okay that he hadn't warned her that he was going to go to the alliance, but just leaving like that, and without saying a word, was too much. Fortunately, she is quite perceptive, and so riding the green kite, she managed to keep up with him. Zhang didn't want to argue, so he said that he could take her as well. Lu Chong then approached the teacher and said that in order to prevent this letter from falling into the wrong hands, his ancestors had hidden it in the family residence in this mountain range. He had only heard its approximate location from his father, so he couldn't be sure. Zhang said with a smile that it was okay. They would find it now. He thought about the treasure that his family had died defending. We have to find it. But surveying the valley from the hill, he wondered how they could find him in such a vast area. Mo Yu said sadly, finding something they don't even know what it looks like would take a year. But then Zhang Huan said that he had an idea. It should definitely work. On a piece of paper he drew an arrow, and then started spinning around in different directions, asking where was the residence of the Luchun family. Mo Yu grudgingly told him to put in at least a little more effort if he wanted them to believe it. But then, placing his foot on the rock, Zhang extended his finger forward that they were there. The princess asked if he was sure that was a reliable way. The guy replied that of course it was. This method is based on the relationship between heaven and earth, celestial luminaries, mountain ranges and lakes, as well as his understanding of the processes occurring in nature. Even treasure can be searched for in this way. not to mention direction, and Zhang himself was thinking about the Heavenly Path Library being able to point out his mistakes. It didn't matter that he didn't know the right direction. He just needed to draw it. That way, relying on his inner senses, he would be able to figure out which direction to take and lead them to the right place. Zhao Yao exclaimed that as expected of a teacher. Sun Qian added that less was not expected of him. Was Mo Yu thinking about the heaven and earth, the heavenly luminary mountain ranges and lakes? It's not like she doesn't know where to go, so she'll listen to him. Zhang told the students that they would stay here with Sun Qian. Mo Yu said she wanted to go too. Zhang replied that it was as she wished. For a while they approached an old house. Lu Chun said it was here, it's just like father said. And Mo Yu was surprised and thought about the fact that they really found her. How did he do that? Zhang wanted to move forward, but his disciple stopped him, asking him to wait. He had been warned that there was an incredibly dangerous hidden array here. His ancestors had set it up. It was said that only the blood of his descendants would stop it. Zhang asked, the blood of the descendants? They saw the pink dome above the manor, and Lu Chong replied that he thought he just had to donate a couple drops of his blood. Then the path would become safe, and they could go inside. If it wasn't for this array, he fears, in so many years, humans or animals would have already peeked in here. The boy wanted to say that he didn't know, but Zhang interrupted him by talking about the core. He thought about the streams. Zhang thought about the fact that it was a blood array. Only the family members of the person who installed it could stop it. He can't break it by force. Zhang said that the cannonball was right above the roof. There, on the wooden beam, were magical symbols. Lu Chong slashed at his boyfriend and threw the blood forward. It went straight to the symbols. In the next instant, the array fell. The boy said he would be free now. Once inside, they saw a large number of plaques and a plate of incense. Kneeling on the cushion, Lu Chong bowed to his ancestors. Mo Yu asked Zhang that he wouldn't go. He replied that this thing belongs to Lu Chun's family. He is only here to help him. So as long as it's safe here, it doesn't matter if he's inside or outside. The boy went back to his teacher. Zhang told him that the world was often unfair to them. Then he asked him to go. Showing the scroll to the teacher, Lu Chong said that these were the Confucius writings left by his ancestors. Mo Yu looked at him in surprise. Taking the scroll, Zhang thought about the fact that it is very old, but it seems to have been treated with a special method that protects it from the ravages of time. It claims to be a disciple's item to me, but think, can take a look at what was written by Confucius. Upon opening it, the scroll began to glow. Zhang thought about the fact that this is the great wisdom of Confucius. These words contain his spirit and perception of the world. It will definitely help to improve the reader's mental power. But people residents. One prince said that this Grandmaster Zhang Huang's teacher must have given him something as an amulet. Therefore, they must act quickly and for sure. Commander Liang said that they must not leave him a chance. Otherwise, if they had a second to send a distress signal or something like that, it would be incredibly difficult for them to do anything. The prince said more importantly, in writing should be in their possession. Liang Qingming bowed, telling His Highness not to worry. The prince ordered action. Lu Chong wanted to ask what was wrong with the teacher, but Mo Yu said not to worry. It's always like this with him. When he reads, the world around him simply ceases to exist. But then they noticed that someone was attacking them. They were both taken aback. The commander with the sword was heading toward Zhang Huan. The next instant, blood spurted. Before Zhang's eyes flew, Mo Yu looked at all of this fearfully.